What's up guys, welcome back to the Nerd Manual. Today I'd like to talk about flexing your social muscle. This program is really intended for nerds who have trouble dealing with social situations. For example, maybe you get along fine with your close friends, but strangers baffle you. Perhaps you want to interact with people but don't know where to start. Or maybe you simply don't like interacting with anyone. Now this is a very basic overview, but if people are interested, we can certainly delve deeper into these topics. As mentioned in our program on logic, nerds often have the gift of being able to detach from emotion and look at situations logically. Cool detachment can be great if you're coding, balancing an equation, or assaulting an AI fortress. But it leads to problems when we're faced with situations that don't follow rational rules. The nerd brain that's tuned to purely logical tasks tends to be less able to deal with emotional nuances. I'm not including physiological origins of social difficulties such as Asperger's, although the outcome can be similar. A few articles out there suggest that the brain allocates mental resources from the social area to the logical. I think maybe the authors are just being polite. I have known many nerds who have great intellectual as well as interpersonal skills, which suggests that some nerds deliberately focus on their logical interests while neglecting the social skills necessary to maintain relationships. This may sound lonely or even sad to some people, but I've also known plenty of nerds who would argue that social interaction equals social distraction, and they aren't in the least bit lonely. While at best it's annoying, and at worst it's terrifying to deal with an apparently illogical world, life requires us all to talk with other people, whether that's the finance manager at the car dealership or, more likely, our coworkers. So there are definite advantages to developing our social muscles. Nerds who successfully navigate the social obstacle course often approach interaction the same way they approach any other problem, logically. So what can you do when you find face-to-face interaction perplexing, draining, or even threatening? Well, start with what you know. If you're a computer gamer, find a local LAN party in MeetSpace and go meet some new gamers. If you code a lot, go attend a code challenge and talk to some other coders. Do you read comic books? Go to a convention and talk to people you don't know. The fact that you share interests will often obliterate the fact that you've never met these people before. The important part is to pay attention to what you and the other people are doing and apply these observations to your interactions with people who don't share these common interests. Follow the rules. Every interaction has a certain pattern, and if you remember these patterns, you can navigate any situation successfully. I'm not saying you need to remember every possible permutation of interactions, but understand how different types of conversations generally flow. Some advice from Cicero, written in 44 BC, that still holds up true today: speak clearly, let others have a turn, treat serious topics seriously, don't get uptight about unimportant stuff, never criticize people when they aren't there, don't talk about yourself unless asked, and never lose your temper. If you need to, find a tutor. This doesn't have to be the most popular person you know, but it should be someone you can trust, who is positive and talks to lots of people. Go ahead and confide in this person that you have a hard time talking with other people and would like some tips. One thing you will discover is that everyone has difficulties interacting at some point. Change your point of view. Most people are motivated by emotion, and they can see cold, logical arguments as an attack sometimes, rather than the obvious solution. If you can figure out how people are approaching a situation, you can wrap your logical answer in a solution that appeals to their point of view and also helps you solve the problem. Of course, don't feed the trolls. Everyone gets angry, even Spock. So there's no shame in feeling emotions, only in reacting poorly. If someone says something hurtful, take a breath before you say anything else. Sometimes the most logical choice is to walk away and let the other person look like a jerk than it is to argue with them. Now, these are just broad tips to get things started, but we want to be helpful to people who are nerds as well as people who know nerds that might need some help in these situations. So if you've got thoughts on this topic, please leave them down in the comments. We do have ideas such as step-by-step guides for dealing with conversations, ways to quickly adapt to different social situations, and of course behaviors to avoid that can derail a conversation. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos about these topics. If you found this program helpful, be sure to hit the like button, and I'll catch you next time.